look into what really happened that day, it was a deep state operation that almost triggered an extremely violent event at the Capitol. The terrible events of that day, as bad as they were microscopic compared to what the deep state was actually planning.
So that is Alex Jones, a guy who's been doing shows for literally decades, totally gets how to light a shot. And so he's worried that January 6th could have been bad. I mean, like, oh no, it was totally bad, like I'm admitting, but it could have been worse. But because of the deep state, because of the FBI, I guess. Because,
how did they screw it up?
I don't know. I don't know. God only knows. They're supposed to be all powerful. They don't explain why. Why did it not get worse? I mean, after all, the Trump people did go in and riot. Anyway, and who does he think was there? Like, they will say that the FBI had planted informants in it. Well, the thing about informants is that informants are parts of those groups. They've just also started to work with the FBI. That doesn't absolve the groups. That indicts the group even more. But then who was actually there? Who was actually rioting? He doesn't seem to still be saying it's Antifa, but he damn sure isn't saying that it was Trump fans that were doing that. But anyway, that's just your appetizer. The reason that we're talking about this is that the January 6th committee has asked Alex Jones and Roger Stone to provide testimony by the middle of next month about what happened, and to provide the panel with requested documents in about 2 weeks or so. So we already know that multiple people, including Steve Bannon, have decided that they're not gonna participate in what the committee is doing. He doesn't plan to either, and he's gonna explain why in this video.
The story was Alex Jones and Roger Stone subpoenaed by the January 6th committee. Here's the problem with that. They will claim I lie about something to the committee, which isn't even true. I wouldn't lie. And then they will have the FBI and the Justice Department indict me for lying to Congress. I'm not stupid. So they've been asking why other people aren't declaring the 5th. I'm probably gonna declare the 5th, not because I've done anything wrong, but because these people are political criminals that have an axe to grind and have been bragging everywhere they want to put me in prison, okay? I'm 47 years old, don't have any felonies, any of those issues. I'm a good person, a family man, and I don't intend on spending the rest of my life in prison. No, sir, don't want to have that happen. And so, I don't want to testify before them because they will lie and say that I lied. And I really do want to testify to Congress. And so if they let me testify live in front of the cameras or depose me on C-SPAN, I will probably do it. That way they can't twist what I said later. But I've seen what they've done to other people, and there's no way I'm gonna go behind closed doors with Schiff and all these other crazy people and Swallowswell, the Chinese agent, and let them sit there and claim that I've done something wrong or claim that I lied to Congress.
Oh, okay, really fast, Jared, just so I don't forget a few of these tiny points. Totally. Calling Eric Swalwell Swallowswell is just a really weird thing for a guy who claims to be 47, who's definitely older, but a full-grown adult to be saying, that's a weird thing to say. Also, I love the optics of a guy backpedaling as fast as he can while the beep, beep, beep goes off, that's great. And then this guy, like, he can't even sell the acting, he's like, well, maybe if they let me do it live. What are you, the stroking of the beard? How fake can you be? Yes, you'd love to be able to shout out that people should go to your website live on C-SPAN or whatever. Honestly, I don't even care. Let him do it live or whatever. It'll be a farce. They love that stuff. But he does have to apparently come in. I don't even know if he knows anything. Honestly, I can't imagine that they would be planning through him this really important stuff. I think Roger Stone is more likely, considering his ties to these different militia groups and everything, to know something. But man, that was some backpedaling, JR.
Yeah, it's constant. Now, he's a family man. First, let's make sure you know this. He's a family man. So when he talks to his kids, he talks about Swallowswell, and that's a good family man activity to talk about with any of your political opponents. So now, by the way, he's talking about how he wants to have his deposition in private or not in private where they can spin his words. We've seen an Alex Jones deposition when he had to talk about his interactions and what he said and what he did surrounding the Sandy Hook conspiracy theories that he was pushing. Those didn't go over very well. He didn't look good. After we saw what he said, I don't think spin was happening. It was just listening and gasps. And it was, really? Like, that's your defense? This guy's not good at these things. Now, again, maybe the reason is to promote himself and save his show, because we saw him begging billionaires or rich people, wealthy people specifically, for money, because that's going to change the whole world. So yes, this is probably an audition to probably generate some more attention and money around his show. But I guess the risk and the gain really isn't going to even out for him, because he's just. It's not even that he's not good at it. The facts just don't line up with you. You can't win an argument when you're just the bad guy.
Yeah, and in terms of the facts not lining up, like that video was very long. I had to watch more than 5 minutes straight of Alex Jones this morning. That was a weird experience. But anyway, he said a lot of crazy stuff. He said, so what he was presenting was that this is so amazing, that this is a deep state plot. You're familiar with this, but did you know Trump was doing everything he could to stop all of what was going on that day? That's why he sent people to the Capitol. No, seriously, he says Trump asked for the National Guard to intervene and the National Guard denied him. I don't even think Trump is claiming that. I have not heard Trump say that. No, Trump was desperately trying to get the military to come in to save democracy from these FBI informants who are holding Trump fans, but somehow aren't Trump fans. I don't know. He said that the kidnapping plot against Gretchen Whitmer was a false flag too. Both were planned by the same FBI agent. He admits he was working with Ali Alexander, which might be one of the reasons they want him to come in and testify. But it's just too bad that Trump wasn't able to save us as he was desperately trying to do so.
It's been pretty obvious. And again, that's one of the main points. If people don't know if they're not following how close this has been, one of the main points that they're looking to investigate is who talked to Trump, and also some of those audition tapes, or I guess cutting room floor recordings of him talking about quelling the violence when he refused to do so. And his handlers kept saying, you gotta tell him to go home, Mr. Trump. You gotta tell him to go home. Yeah. He's like, no, that's the whole point. But you can, now, by the way, you can prove how much he wanted to end this by showing us the tapes. Just show it to us.
Trump literally, okay, so we're like 3 hours into the riots. According to them, Trump is like on the phone, like, generals, I command you, save democracy. And then he puts down the phone to the generals and types out on Twitter, if Mike Pence had the courage to do what he should have done. Why would he be saying that if behind the scenes he was desperately trying to stop them?
Yeah.
The whole thing is just like, but it's not one of the craziest things he said even this week. So it's definitely not going to break through to his followers. The
reason it's not going to break through to his followers is because it took you 12 seconds to explain that, and they don't think that long.
They just like the idea that Trump was in the right. Like, oh, I've been heard that like this is actually really scary and it's like a bad precedent for democracy. Wait, it was, but we're the good guys in it. Yeah, that's pretty appealing, I guess. If your brain is made out of moldy butter, yeah, that's gonna appeal to you.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.